Who has 30 seconds to introduce.
Thank you, I'd just like to ask the Minister for Business, Enterprise and Innovation the actions being taken to reduce the cost of doing business in Ireland and reverse Irish competitiveness deficiencies, and if she will make a statement of the matter. And I suppose the reason I put this question down, Minister, is we consistently accept that we are an expensive place to do business in terms of the regulatory burdens that are placed on business, but equally the costs that are now built in across the broader economy: finance, insurance, credit, childcare, housing, and all of these key areas. And I'm just wondering, what are you doing to address these issues that are a barrier to business?
Minister, 2 minutes.
And just thank the Deputy for raising this matter. Ireland's overall competitiveness performance remains positive. Our improved fiscal position and increased cost competitiveness have all contributed to Ireland's improved international competitiveness. This improvement is reflected in a range of metrics, notably economic growth, increased employment, falling unemployment and a strong trade performance. Notwithstanding this strong position, addressing Ireland's cost competitiveness remains a key economic priority for Government, and we continue to monitor Ireland's cost base and analyse the factors that are crucial to improving our cost competitiveness. Recent reports published by the National Competitiveness Council found that the cost base for enterprise is internationally competitive across a range of metrics, for example the cost of starting a business, communication costs and average income taxes. However, the Council also highlighted that Ireland remains a relatively high cost location and cost pressures are evident in residential property, credit, energy, labour and business service costs. A range of initiatives in the Action Plan for Jobs 2018 are in train across Government to enhance our cost competitiveness and productivity, improve the ease of doing business, reduce the administrative burden and drive greater efficiencies across the entire base. Through the Action Plan for Education and Pathways to Work, the Government is working to ensure the pipeline of talent can meet the demand for labour to reduce labour cost pressure. My department has reviewed the policies underpinning the current employment permits regime to ensure that it is fully supportive of Ireland's emerging labour market needs, be they skills or labour shortages in certain sectors. The work of the Personal Injuries Commission, whose second and final report was published in September 2018 by my department, the implementation of the report on the cost of motor insurance and the complementary work of the Cost of Insurance Working Group should help to reduce insurance costs for businesses. I launched the €300 million Brexit loan scheme in March 2018, which supports the working capital needs of companies impacted by Brexit. My department, in conjunction with the Department of Agriculture, Food and Marine and the Department of Finance, the Strategic Banking Corporation of Ireland and the European Investment Fund are developing the €300 million Future Growth Loan Scheme as announced in Budget 2019 to allow businesses borrow for up to 10 years to support capital investment. Enterprise 2025 Renewed also places an increased emphasis on enhancing our competitiveness position by developing our Irish-owned enterprises. We're placing a spotlight on innovation and on skills. Enterprise Ireland also places a strong emphasis on competitiveness. It supports exporting clients with initiatives in lean, R&D and innovation and management development.
Thank you, Minister. The remainder will be included in the official report. Deputy Kelleher's 1 minute.
Minister, again, thanks for your reply. Look, I suppose the reason I'm raising it is because it is an issue of concern. There's no point in us highlighting all the positives if we fail in accepting that there is huge pressures out there. The cost of finance, childcare, property, labour, insurance, transport, energy and other business services, as you referred to. Now, equally, I could identify many areas where we are doing exceptionally well in terms of competitiveness, but overall, there is huge pressures within the economy. And of course, what will happen over the next number of years is while you have rapid expansion, that they are camouflaged. Those costs are camouflaged to a certain extent because of increased cash flow to businesses. They can hide those costs for a while. But inevitably, it will have a major impact on us in the time ahead. And the time to undermine those particular pressures is now, rather than in a couple of years' time when it is too late. So those key issues have to be addressed: finance, housing, transport, insurance, business services and energy, and of course childcare itself as well, which is an issue well outside your remit, but government as a whole must take responsibility and act on these key issues.
1 minute.
Deputy, and just to say that of course we are very conscious of the issue of competitiveness and you know, we have to accept that we have made enormous progress in recent years. We have stabilised the public finances, we have the fastest growing economy in Europe, and we're now almost at full employment. And we should be proud of the progress we have made, but government is absolutely determined that there will be no complacency. We're acutely aware of vulnerabilities in the domestic economy, such as low productivity levels in indigenous firms, along with growing uncertainty in the global economy, such as Brexit, which of course are cause for concern. We must also ensure our economy is well positioned to adapt to a low-carbon future and a revolution in digitisation and automation. Otherwise, we could see negative economic and employment impacts in the future. And the government has recognised the need for a concrete and coordinated plan to address these challenges and indeed opportunities. And that's why in July this government agreed to the development of the Future Jobs Initiative. And this will be a whole-of-government approach with concrete and ambitious actions to enhance productivity, create quality and sustainable jobs, and build a resilient and innovative economy. And it will ensure that we are well positioned to adapt to technological and other transformational changes the economy will face in the years ahead. Okay, thank you.
Final supplementary.
Just finally, Minister. One of the key issues that we don't seem to be addressing in this country too is the cost of credit. And that again is a whole-of-government approach, but primarily I think the Central Bank and the European Central Bank. It beggars me to understand or comprehend how in a Eurozone economy, with the free movement of goods and services, that we have the highest interest rates in Europe to small and medium-sized businesses. Our pillar banks are gouging the Irish economy, are gouging us. They're in our pockets every day of the week, and it is something that has to be addressed. The average interest rate across the Eurozone for small and medium-sized businesses is 1.77%. In Ireland, it's 3.25%. They're pillaging us, Minister, and we do not seem to be doing anything about it. It is inherently wrong that we, as a country, are being at a complete disadvantage to our European colleagues and competitors because of our pillar banks gouging this economy. And that is something that has to be addressed. AIB, Bank of Ireland, were on life support in this country and saved by decisions of this Parliament. And now they are pillaging us as a nation. And that has to be addressed.
Just to say that in relation to credit and financial costs, the supply and demand for credit has improved significantly since the height of the crisis. However, the cost of credit, while falling, continues to remain relatively high, and it is vital that the cost of credit is reduced to align Ireland with rates in competitor countries, as you said, Deputy. The divergence between Irish and Euro area interest rates for enterprise is particularly noticeable for loans of up to $250,000, where the interest rate on new business loans in Ireland was double the Euro area average rate throughout 2017. So in March 28th of this year, I opened the Brexit loan scheme for applications to allow for the rollout of a €300 million fund for working capital for eligible Irish businesses, and those were businesses that were going to be impacted by Brexit. So the scheme has been delivered through the Strategic Banking Corporation of Ireland, through the commercial lenders, which are the three pillar banks, and it makes €300 million available to eligible businesses with up to 499 employees at an interest rate of 4% or less. So what it is, it's €300 million fund, working capital facility, up to 3 years a term, and an interest rate of 4%. So that, in fairness, is a very attractive rate for an overdraft facility. In addition to that, we have the €300 million long-term future growth loan scheme. So that's a long-term loan that will lend to businesses up to terms of out to 8 to 10 years. Currently, the pillar banks are only lending up to 7 years, and we identified this gap in the market. So we're passing legislation, and I look forward to working with you in terms of that loan. So we'll be able to launch it early in January.
Deputy.